poppin'? My name is Ariane Andrew.
I'm Matt Dillon. This is Miss Mama, Miss Goody, and welcome to another episode of Sippin' the Tea.
Where we sip the tea and our guests
Girl, spill that tea. I'm gonna have a little sip right now. All right, guys. Our next guest, you may remember her face, the Queen of Versailles, and she's here today to talk about a lot of things, but you know, some serious things that are in the new book that she's promoting, Victoria's Voice. I want to give a warm welcome to Jackie Siegel, my love. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for being here.
So, tell us. I mean, let's go back to where people would know you from. It was, I call it infamous. I was like, you were the family, the husband, breakout stars. It was insane.
You know, the Queen of Versailles.
Yes.
Yes.
Insane.
You can say it. It's okay.
It was insane. But I want to kind of look at that, and you know, that was kind of the introduction, but it also was playing a part which ultimately led to the creation of this book.
Right.
So I want to talk, you know, get it from your mouth, what that experience was like after the film came out, and like what, you know, it was a rush. You came out of nowhere.
Oh my God. Well,
and you were so good at it too.
Right?
Oh, it was juicy.
Yeah, it was.
I kind of came out of nowhere too. I came from a small town, Binghamton, New York, and my whole aspiration in life was just to own like $100,000 house.
Oh, girl. Whoa.
That's all I wanted.
How do you go from
Right?
That's insane.
Yes.
You know, they say reach for the stars, honey, and that's literally what you were doing.
But
Exactly.
I wasn't, well, 100,000, I mean, that's crazy. That's a shopping trip right now. Right?
Oh, hang on. Well,
We see that ring right here.
She's like, some shopping. You know, we like size small, size big.
Yeah.
Hey, so tell us, like, in terms of that reaction to, it was very polarizing. How did you, the family, you would have had to expect that would be like that. It was so unique and unexpected.
Well, you know what happened? Okay, so the Queen of Versailles, the movie went globally. It's one of the most watched documentaries of all time globally. So I got like almost like instant fame from that. And back 3.5 years ago, it was around last May, and someone came up to me and they said, is there anything, like, what do you want, like, to do, or what do you want out of life? Like, what more do you want? And that was very hard for me to answer because I'm thinking, I think I've got everything I want. I have 8 beautiful children, a wonderful husband. He's a billionaire. We're building the largest home in America. We have fame. I was coming out with a new TV show. I was going to be on Wife Swap. We owned a football team. Just like, I mean, everything. I said, we've got everything I've wanted. I've traveled everywhere. And all of a sudden, a few weeks later, the carpet got pulled from underneath us, and our oldest daughter, Victoria, had passed away of a drug overdose. And all of a sudden, like, nothing mattered anymore. I mean, with all the money in the world, we couldn't.
Can't get it
You
back.
can't get it
Can't get it back, yeah. So life went from up at the top instantly with a phone call to the bottom.
So how did the book come about with Victoria's Voice?
Well, actually, Victoria's had a dying wish in the form of a text. And her dying wish was that I find her diary hidden next to her bed under a drawer, and she wanted me to publish her book, her diary. And so what I did, I struggled with it. I found the diary and I read it, and it was just like, I didn't even know my daughter. You know, it was just like reading that she was experimenting with all these drugs and you know, feelings of like she's not good enough for the world, and she hated being on the documentary.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw that.
She said that was the worst day of her life, or the worst thing that ever happened to her. So what I did, I decided to respect her dying wish. Now it's taken me like 3.5 years to get the courage to do this.
Of course.
But
I noticed there was a
Yeah.
time guy, because I can't imagine that's the easiest thing to do.
no, it was very difficult to share, you know, my daughter's diary with the rest of the world. But, you know, I felt like I would do a disservice not only to her dying wish, but also to the world, because there's the overdoses. It's getting worse.
Yeah.
It's an epidemic out
It's
there.
it's,
Yeah.
like,
insane.
I almost want to say it's a pandemic. I mean,
I wouldn't
it's almost like
I wouldn't
that
disagree
bad.
with that.
And it's the number now. It is now the number one cause of death for people 50 years and under
Wow.
in our country. It's insane. So I felt like if I didn't come out and do something, whatever I can do my share, and partial, like to carry on Victoria's legacy so that she didn't die in vain, to publish her diary. And so in the book here, it's a book within a book. So my husband and I wrote the introduction,
Just your reaction.
Yeah.
my
Sure.
reaction, and it's got our speeches from the funeral. So there's some very touching things from
Some very
us,
private things.
Yeah.
very private and intimate. And in the center of the book, in the yellow pages, is her actual diary.
I'm gonna hold this up to this camera here so we can see.
And you can flip through. Yeah, there's
So you can
she's
see
got
that
pictures.
it's really, this is so intimate, and I can't imagine how the first time you read this and you just said that you didn't really even know your daughter, how that must have made you
oh my God.
feel like.
I can't explain. It was so hard. It's like, my God, I wish she came to me. I wish I knew that she was being bullied at school. I wish I knew that that she had an eating disorder and that she didn't feel good enough and stuff. And there's like when
She was an amazing artist, by the way.
Yeah. And
Oh,
beautiful.
I was
Gorgeous
Yeah.
girl.
I was like, I think what you're doing with this and the way that it came about, that this was her wish to be kind of have you as the conduit for a message.
right.
You get to be with your daughter every day now.
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
way that
right.
doesn't-
She's
that
looking
doesn't
over
take-
me.
Yes.
That
Right.
doesn't take away the fact that
Yeah.
she's not with you in the physical,
Right, right.
but in the spiritual and the mental.
She's there.
I think she entrusted you and your husband with
You're giving me
something.
like chills now.
I'm
You know,
getting
like-
chills because I was
Yeah.
just. It takes a while to actually open this and to look at that and to realize you just never know what somebody's going through, and it doesn't.
Well-
and I don't think it behooves to be like. A lot of people have opinions, and I think a lot of
Yes.
people. I read some of the backstories, and you read some comments, and then people were like, "Well,
Right.
they were terrible this or terrible that." I completely disagree with the whole concept because I'm like, people shield things in life very well. So I don't think it means that you were bad anything. It just means that she
Well-
went through something,
Well, when our daughter first passed away of the drug overdose, I mean, we were just floored. We didn't know like that she was doing drugs, and people say, "How can you not know?" And the thing is, we thought drug addicts, people dying from drugs, were homeless people living under a bridge, and we had no idea that she's a billionaire's daughter, and it happened to us. So what I want other parents to know who read this book is to learn from what we wish we knew back then.
Yeah.
And we want to share the lessons that we've learned, like warning
the
signs,
hard lessons.
the hard lessons, and I think it's very important for us to come out and share this, because I think when parents read this, for one thing, they're going to know that it's possible that their kids are shielding them from their inner thoughts.
Because
Exactly.
kids are so good. Kids
Especially
are so
now-
good at that. Let's
Yes.
be honest. I think human beings are good at that.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's just for me when I look at that, and I'll be open and honest. When I was researching and read this, I've been through my own battles.
Yes.
And nobody would ever know
Right?
because you
right?
shield things
Yeah.
very well.
Kids-
Only a few people, I won't go into it, but if you know some of my background, nobody would ever know.
Right?
And I
Maybe
came-
you should
I
write a
came-
book. I mean, I
Not
want to
yet,
read
girl.
this book.
Not
I
yet.
want to read your book.
You know what I mean? But it's like,
Yeah.
one thing that struck with me, I was like, nobody knows what anybody's going through. And it's such a poetic, beautiful thing. And I have to take my hat off to you and be like, and to your
The
husband too.
courage,
He's not
you
here. The
know?
courage to
Yeah.
continually, even just to retell the story every
Right.
time you do an interview.
Yeah.
Must be, I get that, my hands are up.
Well, what I have to add too, it's like, people can say, oh, you know, she came from a family that she has it all. But what people need to realize is it doesn't matter your race, your religion, or your background. We all go through things.
Or your
you know what I mean?
financial.
It does not
Yeah.
matter. You know what I mean? And you should
It
never
doesn't
be
discriminate.
exactly.
You said in the beginning,
Yeah.
in an instant, money couldn't get her back.
Exactly.
So you had everything on paper.
It looks,
And-
you know,
and-
it looks perfect.
And you know, one thing with being like from an affluent family or the kids in private schools that come from parents with money, sometimes it's easier for them to get drugs because they can afford it too.
yeah.
So
Listen,
it's everywhere.
That's
when
why
you
you can
wanna
never judge a
find
book by its
something-
cover.
When you want to
Ever.
find something, you'll always find it.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
No matter what level of that financial spectrum. But I think this will become this. I think this should become part of a school curriculum. Number one, in my opinion, I think you need to. The more interviews you do, talk about how you want it to be in schools, because I think not just for parents but for kids to see. I think
Yeah.
the world we live in is so. That's why it's so. I think your journey is kind of fascinating because it was this lavish introduction to who you were and your family, and some people were like, "Oh, who are these people?" And I was one of them. And then I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, fuck it, would I be like that? Damn straight
Yeah.
I would." I mean, hey, if you're presented with an
Yeah.
opportunity, who wouldn't?
Right.
But the journey where it stands now, I was like, you wouldn't have this platform if you hadn't have put yourselves out there.
You're
Not
exactly
to
right.
this extent.
Right.
Not
right.
to this extent. And I feel like it's fascinating to see, you know, what was a phenomenon in a way,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
there were so many heated opinions about you as individuals, as family, as this, to where it's ended up. And like, damn lucky you had that, because now you can reach with something
Exactly.
significant. And that
Yeah.
to me is like, your daughter didn't die in vain, because now she lives through your words and your speech. And your husband's, he's not here, but I know he's holding it down.
He's going to be watching.
You know,
trust
he's
me.
holding it down. So, you know,
Yeah.
I just, you know, it's a fascinating thing, and it's a scary topic for people to talk about.
Yeah, well, you know, that's one thing. When my husband and I, we were both like very depressed, but one thing that's helped us like kind of recover, or snap out of it, was to make the decision to go out and carry on her legacy and trying to help the rest of the world. In fact, my husband, he goes to work. He has a desk. One pile of papers, he says, makes money. The other one, big pile of papers, saves lives. So he took the one pile of papers and gave it to his top executives, said, "You run the company. My mission in life is to go out and save lives."
I love
So that's
that.
what we're doing now. And he's speaking at colleges.
I saw he was speaking I wasn't sure whether it was Congress, but I know that I
Yes.
think I saw an interview, was it the mayor of Florida? I think I watched an interview where, I'm not sure what
Well, the
it's like
foundation, though,
the
too.
fa-
done a
yeah.
few.
Well, do you see in the foundation that you guys have
Yeah.
with Victoria's Voices Foundation, which also, if we turn into a lighter side, that how you're the director of, you know,
Yes.
of the pageants for Florida, and
Yes.
how now that's making money with the foundation with Victoria's Voice with the pageant that you guys are having on May 19th. Let's talk about that and how you're
Okay.
looking for
Yes.
some ladies.
I am ready. Yeah.
She ready? I'm from Florida, girl.
All right.
Get it.
So if anyone's from Florida and they want to enter the Mrs. Florida pageant, we have a Mrs. and an unmarried division. So it could be Miss or
Wow.
Mrs.
Oh, that's
So we have two
awesome.
divisions. Whoever wins gets an all-expense paid trip on our private jet to Las Vegas for the Nationals.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
Hey.
Yeah.
I have to have sip
Yeah.
a little tea for that.
Cheers. So
Yeah,
cheers
I'm
to that.
available.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
That is.
So, anyways, we're also the hosts of Mrs. America and Mrs. World. And what we've done, of course, every beauty pageant, the contestants need a platform. So what we've decided is to have them make the platform for Victoria's Voice, but the opioid crisis all across America. So now what we have, every state pageant has Victoria's Voice as their platform. So we've got ambassadors, all of those contestants in every state, going out and spreading the word about the drug problem and overdose problem that we have in America, and getting word out about naloxone too.
That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
the naloxone.
Yes.
I could see there was something that wanted to bounce off the tip of your tongue.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Because
Yes.
that's important. That should be. people should have access to that because this is a real, real life.
It's possible that if naloxone was around when our daughter overdosed, possibly she'd still be here. But naloxone is a drug that's prescription. Well, it's actually not prescription anymore. You can get it over the counter. But it's was around for 40 years. It's a drug. What it does is stops the brain receptors temporarily from getting the opioids that are attacking the body to stop the heart and lung and all. And it protects the person for about 3 hours. Someone can be overdose, one breath away from death, even not breathing, turning blue. And they administer this. It's a nose spray, or they can do an injection in the leg. But the nose spray is the easiest. And all of a sudden they snap out of it and they start breathing again like that. And it's the most amazing thing. And they can tell you what they took, how much they took, who they got it from. And they can go, you take them to the hospital and flush out their system and save their lives. And one thing that's been great is with the naloxone is there was a CARA Act, which naloxone was in this CARA. It's a very comprehensive act. I mean, it's like a law like that thick. But we got the CARA Act passed after Victoria passed away. That's what you were saying.
That's what I watched. Yeah.
When you saw my husband in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
He was up there lobbying to get this act passed that provides the naloxone.
I love that his directions changed too.
Yeah.
Because he's the boss, he knows he can do it, and he entrusted that to live his life's purpose now.
Yeah.
I think that to me is also like, you're both on
such a great
aligned paths, but like it just speaks to that you were good parents, that you were good, because a lot of people are like, how did they not know? Because you can walk down the street and see somebody and they can be a functioning this or a functioning that. Sometimes you just don't know. And the way that you're actively getting in there, like it's not you're not just out, but you putting yourself out there and the husband, going to DC, doing this thing, it's like you're actually getting in the trenches, and that's important.
And it's like, like we'll never know exactly like how many lives that we've saved. It's hard to gauge because if someone doesn't die, or you don't know if
you'll know if the death rate drops though. You're making an impact. You're making an impact.
Yeah.
I think you know that though.
Yeah, we are, because we have the naloxone already implemented in Orlando. And the chief of police came up to us. We had lunch with him recently, and he wanted to thank us. It was a thank you lunch. And he says, because of us, they have used the naloxone 1,000 times. So we know somewhere in there
it's
that we've already saved lives within that 1,000.
It's like it's kind of this oxymoron of like this epidemic's coming, but through you and the reach that you have, it's kind of like you're the good epidemic fighting this to wipe it out. And I think the more times you tell this story,
the more
even if it's like hard to say, and some days you might be like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and some people like they say, but the drug epidemic is just so hard, how can you get that much of an impact and save that many lives? And the thing is, when we started out on our mission, even if we could save one life, it would be wonderful.
Exactly.
But
one life,
right?
More than what I mean.
Yeah.
It was like as many lives as possible. It's like chip it. It's like leave a chip, leave an indent, and it's in your daughter's name.
But there's a very short story that I want to correlate with what we're doing.
Yeah.
There was an old man and a young boy walking on the beach, and about 1 million starfish, as far as you can see, were washed up ashore. I don't know if you've heard the story.
No.
But the little boy...
story time. Come on, girls. Come on, girls.
Come on, girls. So the little boy starts picking up starfish and throwing them into the ocean. And the old man says, little boy, what are you doing? I'm saving their lives. He says, look at all these starfish. You can't possibly save all their lives. And the little boy ignores the old man, and he goes down, he picks up a starfish, threw it in the ocean. I said, I just saved that one.
And on that note, girl,
I think there's no better way
there's
to
no better way to end, and we have to cheers. We have to cheers to that. Yes.
Cheers to that. Let's
Cheers.
have it.
Cheers.
No better way.
And then if you can let all our audience know
Down
the
that lens,
world.
where can we find the book? Follow you on social.
Everything for me.
Right there. Girl.
Everything for me is The Real Queen of Versailles. That's for the .com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And so the real Queen of Versailles.
Where can they find
And
the book?
You can get the book online at Amazon, or they're selling it at that you can get online at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and also Walmart. And we also have an audiobook.
Girl, you're about to be a bestseller, child.
Yes.
It's number one in its category
how
right now
beautiful
on
she is.
Wow.
Amazon. We haven't even really done the press.
That is
Thank you so much.
You are amazing, girl, and just keep spreading the word. And it's nice to meet you in person.
It's
know?
lovely
Great
to
to
meet
meet you, and I
It's
hope
really
to come
lovely.
back in a few months and
Please.
Please.
give you an update.
And give me more.
Yes.
And definitely,
Yes.
I mean, we only scratched the surface, guys, on this.
Right?
We really scratched
know.
the surface.
Part
but
2.
I'm like,
And we'll have to
daughter
hit
would
on
be really
Versailles
proud.
too.
my daughter
Exactly.
would be really
Yeah.
proud.
Oh, she is.
Yeah.
I know she's proud, and thank you. I'm
And
trying
she's
not to
with you.
cry.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Yes.
Thank you.
You guys can follow me across the board at Ariane Andrew, and this little nugget here that's sleeping at Glitty Glit.
I'm Matt Dillon, 1983. I'm not gonna wake the bass down here. She's hiding. Like, surprise. Guys, go pick up a copy of this book. Seriously, everybody needs to read it because you need to be educated.
Exactly.
Whether you think you know somebody or whether you don't, you definitely know somebody. Jackie,
Thank
Yes.
you. Thanks for the hug. and
Yes.
thank you so
It's
much,
been a
Jackie.
pleasure.
Thanks for everything.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
guys. All right. That's it for Sippin' the Tea, and we will catch you guys next Tuesday.
Bye.
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.